Let's be honest, most people will never be great. They will live and die in mediocrity, buried under their own excuses. They'll talk about what they could have done, what they almost did, and why life was unfair to them. But do you want to know the real reason most people fail? It's not bad luck. It's not lack of talent. It's not because the world is against them. It's because they're soft. We live in a world where people crack under pressure, where they run from pain instead of embracing it, where they scroll for hours, watching others live the life they want instead of fighting for it themselves. But that's not you, is it? You don't want to be like them. You want more. You want to be unbreakable. You want to look in the mirror and see someone who refuses to quit. Someone who gets back up every single time. Someone who doesn't need motivation because discipline runs through their veins. And here's the truth. That version of you already exists. It's just buried under years of fear, hesitation, and self-doubt. But by the time we're done here, by the time you finish this, that version of you will no longer be trapped. It will be unleashed. So let me ask you, are you ready to kill the weak version of yourself? Are you ready to become the person who wins no matter what? If not, leave now. But if you are, buckle up, because we're about to rewrite your entire mindset. Chapter 1, The War Against Yourself. You wake up, check your phone, and instantly get hit with reminders of everything you're not. Someone's flexing their new car, another person just got their dream job, and suddenly, your own life feels painfully average. That voice in your head whispers, "You're behind. You're not enough." But here's the truth. The biggest battle you'll ever fight is not against the world, it's against yourself. Most people lose this battle before they even step into the ring. They let self-doubt, procrastination, and fear run the show. The worst part? They don't even realize they're sabotaging themselves. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're handing over another piece of your potential. It's like trying to run a marathon while tying your own shoelaces together. The war against yourself isn't loud. It's quiet. It's in those moments when you decide to hit snooze instead of getting up early. It's when you scroll endlessly instead of working on your goals. It's when you tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, except tomorrow never comes. The harsh reality? No one's coming to save you. No one's going to drag you out of bed and force you to become the person you're meant to be. It's on you. And here's where most people mess up. They think discipline is about forcing yourself to do things you hate. But true discipline? It's about learning to love the process. It's about understanding that pain and discomfort aren't roadblocks. They're stepping stones. Every rep in the gym, every hour spent grinding, every rejection, and every failure, they're all sharpening you, but only if you let them. Imagine this. 2 versions of you exist. One is stuck in the same place, making the same excuses, playing life on easy mode. The other, unstoppable, fearless, relentless. The only difference between them is the choices you make every single day. So, which version are you becoming? Chapter 2. Fear is a liar. Fear is the most convincing liar you'll ever meet. It whispers that you're not ready, that you'll fail, that people will judge you. And the worst part? You believe it. Fear isn't here to keep you safe. It's here to keep you small. And if you let it, it'll rob you of everything you were meant to be. Think about it. When was the last time fear actually protected you? Sure, it kept you from walking into traffic, but more often than not, it's kept you from taking risks, from chasing dreams, from leveling up. Fear loves to make you imagine the worst-case scenario. But what if, for once, you asked yourself, what if it actually works out? Look at every successful person. You think they weren't scared? Of course they were. The difference? They moved forward despite the fear. They felt the anxiety, the doubt, the discomfort, and they did it anyway. That's the secret. Fear doesn't disappear. Confidence doesn't show up before you take action. It comes because you take action. Here's something no one tells you. Fear and excitement feel exactly the same in your body. The only difference? The story you attach to it. Your heart races, your palms sweat, your stomach flips. That's not fear, that's energy. That's your body preparing for something big. So instead of running from it, lean into it. What if you stopped seeing fear as a warning sign and started seeing it as proof that you're on the right track? Right now, there's something you know you should do. Maybe it's applying for that job, starting that business, speaking up, taking the risk. But fear is holding you back. Ask yourself, How much longer are you going to let fear control your life? Another year? 5 years? A lifetime? You already know how that story ends, but if you decide to push through, to stop listening to the lies, to take the leap, well, that's a story worth telling. Chapter 3. Burn the Plan B. Let's get one thing straight. Plan B is killing your dreams. It sounds logical, right? Have a backup plan, just in case. But here's the problem. Plan B gives you an easy way out. It tells your brain, hey, we don't have to go all in. We have a safety net. And that's exactly why most people never make it. They keep one foot in, one foot out, never fully committing. Think about the most unstoppable people you know. The athletes, the entrepreneurs, the game changers. Do you think they had a backup plan? No, they went all in. They made failure not an option. That level of commitment changes everything. When you remove the escape routes, your mind has no choice but to find a way forward. Picture this. You're on a boat in the middle of the ocean, and you need to swim to shore. If there's another boat nearby, you'll keep looking back, thinking, I can always go back. But if you burn the boat, you'll swim like your life depends on it, because it does. That's the mindset you need. But here's the twist. Burning Plan B doesn't mean being reckless. It means committing so fully to Plan A that you make it work. It means adapting, learning, and pivoting instead of quitting. It means refusing to settle for anything less than what you know you're capable of. The biggest lie we tell ourselves is that we'll give 100% once we see results. But the truth? You have to give 100% before you see anything. That's when most people quit, right before the breakthrough, right before things start clicking. The difference between success and failure isn't talent, it isn't luck. It's the ability to keep going when everything inside you is screaming to stop. So ask yourself, are you still holding onto a Plan B? Because if you are, that's exactly what's keeping you from going all in. And if you don't go all in, you already know how the story ends. But if you commit, if you stop playing it safe, if you finally decide that this is it, then you've already won. Chapter 4. Pain is the price. Most people spend their entire lives running from pain. They avoid discomfort, dodge challenges, and chase the easiest route. But here's the brutal truth. Pain is the price of greatness. You don't get stronger without struggle. You don't get smarter without failure. You don't get tougher without hardship. Every champion, every leader, every person at the top paid for their success with pain. Think about the gym. If you lift weights that feel easy, nothing changes. No muscle grows, no strength builds. But if you push past your limits, if your muscles scream in exhaustion, that's when transformation happens. Life works the same way. If you stay where it's comfortable, you stay weak. But if you lean into the pain, if you take the hits and keep moving, you become something else entirely. You become dangerous. The problem is, most people quit too early. They feel a little discomfort and think, maybe this isn't for me. But what if pain isn't a sign to stop? What if it's proof that you're on the right track? The people who win aren't the ones who avoid pain. They're the ones who expect it, embrace it, and use it. So here's the real question. How much pain are you willing to endure for the life you want? Because the difference between the people who make it and the ones who don't isn't talent. It's not intelligence. It's who can take the most punches and still get back up. Pain is the test. Are you strong enough to pass? Chapter 5. Stop negotiating with yourself. If you listen closely, you'll hear it. That little voice in your head that constantly tries to talk you out of things. Just hit snooze. You can start tomorrow. It's not that big of a deal. That voice, it's the enemy. And every time you listen to it, you lose. The most successful people don't negotiate with themselves. They don't debate whether or not they feel like showing up. They just do it. They operate on discipline, not motivation. Because motivation is a liar. It comes and goes. Some days you'll feel like grinding, and some days you won't. But if you let your feelings decide your actions, you'll stay stuck forever. Think about it. When was the last time you felt like doing something hard? You didn't. But once you started, once you pushed through, you felt unstoppable. That's the trick. Your brain will always try to keep you in comfort mode, but comfort mode is where dreams go to die. Imagine if a soldier in battle stopped to think about whether or not they should fight. They'd be dead. The same goes for you. You have to move before your mind has time to argue. You have to act before you feel like it. The longer you negotiate, the more likely you are to lose. From now on, there's no debate, no excuses, no deals. You made a promise to yourself. Keep it. Because every time you break a promise to yourself, you lose trust in your own word. And if you can't even trust yourself, how can you expect to win? Chapter 6. The Power of Obsession. Society loves to tell you to be balanced, to take it easy, to relax. But let's be honest, have you ever met someone truly great who is balanced? No. The people who change the game are obsessed. They don't dabble. They don't kind of want it. They need it like they need air. Obsession isn't unhealthy. It's necessary. Because the truth is, you're either obsessed with your vision or you're distracted by excuses. The people who become unstoppable don't have backup plans. They don't waste time. Every action, every thought, every decision is aligned with their goal. But here's the mistake most people make. They want success, but only if it's convenient, only if it doesn't require sacrifice. But obsession doesn't work that way. It demands everything. Late nights, early mornings, isolation, repetition. The good news, obsession is a choice. You don't have to be born with it. You just have to decide. Right now, ask yourself, are you treating your dream like an option, or are you treating it like a necessity? Because if you're not obsessed, someone else will be, and they'll take the life you could have had. Chapter 7. Burn the escape route. Most people fail before they even start. Not because they aren't smart enough or talented enough, but because they keep a way out. They tell themselves, if this doesn't work, I'll try something else. But here's the truth. If you give yourself an escape, you'll use it. Think about history's greatest warriors. When ancient commanders led their armies into battle, they sometimes burned their own ships upon arrival. Why? Because with no way to retreat, the only option was to win. They forced themselves to fight like their lives depended on it. Because they did. That's the same mindset you need. If you're keeping a backup plan, you're already half out the door. You're subconsciously telling yourself, this might not work. And if you believe that, you'll never give it everything. You'll never push past the pain. You'll quit the moment it gets tough because deep down you know you have another option. But what if you had no choice? What if failure wasn't an option? What if the only way was forward? You'd find a way, no matter what. That's the secret. That's how the great ones operate. They don't just commit. They eliminate any possibility of turning back. They don't try to win. They have to win. So ask yourself, are you really all in? Or are you leaving the door open, just in case? Because if you are, you've already lost. Chapter 8. Be the last one standing. Life is a war of attrition. The person who wins isn't always the strongest or the smartest. It's the one who lasts. Most people quit way too soon. They hit resistance and assume it's a sign to stop. But success isn't about quick victories. It's about endurance. Think of a boxing match. Everyone comes in swinging hard in round 1. But by round 8, half of them are gassed out. The real fighters, the ones who train their endurance, who refuse to fall, they're the ones who win. It's not just about throwing punches. It's about still being there when everyone else has dropped. The same is true for business, fitness, relationships, everything. At the beginning, everyone is excited. Everyone is motivated. But what happens when the excitement fades? What happens when it gets boring, when results are slow, when the work feels endless? That's where people drop off. That's where most people quit. But not you, because you know the truth. Success is a waiting game. If you can outlast the competition, you win by default. It's not always about being the best. Sometimes it's just about sticking around longer than everyone else. So next time you feel like quitting, remember this. Someone else is thinking the same thing. Let them quit. You stay, you endure, you win. You stay. Chapter 9. Fear is lying to you. Fear is the biggest liar you'll ever meet. It whispers in your ear, telling you that you're not ready, that you're not good enough, that you'll fail. And the worst part? Most people believe it. But here's what fear doesn't tell you. It's completely full of crap. Fear isn't reality. It's just a mental projection of the worst-case scenario. It's your brain playing tricks on you, trying to keep you safe. But safe doesn't get you anywhere. Safe keeps you in the same place, year after year, wondering what could have been. Think about the scariest things you've ever done. Maybe it was speaking in public, asking for a promotion, making a big move. Before you did it, fear was screaming at you. But what happened after? The fear disappeared. Why? Because fear only exists before action. The moment you move, it loses its power. That's the secret. Fear can't stop you. It can only convince you to stop yourself. And once you see through the lie, once you realize fear is just noise, you take away its power forever. So the next time fear creeps in, don't listen. Don't negotiate. Just move. Because the second you do, fear has no choice but to shut up. Chapter 10. The enemy is comfort. Most people don't lose because they're weak. They lose because they get comfortable. They reach a level of success, and instead of pushing harder, they relax. They slow down. They start protecting what they have instead of chasing what they could become. And the second you stop moving forward, you start falling backward. Think about how lions hunt. A hungry lion is relentless. It stalks, it waits, it chases its prey with everything it has. But what happens after it eats? It lays down, it rests, it stops hunting. That's exactly what happens to people when they get a little success. They lose the hunger that got them there in the first place. But here's the reality. Comfort is a trap. It lulls you into thinking you've made it. It tricks you into slowing down. And before you know it, someone else, someone hungrier, is passing you by. Look at the best athletes, the best entrepreneurs, the best in any field. They don't stop when they win. They don't let comfort creep in. Michael Jordan didn't win one championship and call it a day. Elon Musk didn't build one company and retire. They kept moving. They kept pushing. Because the second you get comfortable, you lose your edge. So ask yourself, are you still hungry or are you getting soft? Because comfort feels good in the moment, but it kills potential. The moment you start feeling too safe, too relaxed, that's your sign. It's time to wake up. It's time to go harder. Chapter 11. You are the problem. Most people blame their circumstances. They blame their boss, their upbringing, the economy, their bad luck. They act like life just happens to them. But here's the hard truth. If your life isn't where you want it to be, it's because of you. That might sting. But the second you accept it, everything changes. Because if you're the problem, that also means you're the solution. No one is coming to save you. No mentor, no government, no lucky break is going to fix your life. You have to do it. You have to look in the mirror and say, every result I have is because of my own choices. Not because of bad luck. Not because of what someone else did. Because of me. That's what separates the powerful from the weak. The weak blame. The powerful own it. They take responsibility for everything. Their wins, their losses, their mistakes. They stop waiting for something to change and start making change happen. So what's your excuse? What's the thing you've been blaming? Whatever it is, drop it. Excuses are nothing but a shield for mediocrity. If you want to be unstoppable, you have to take full, brutal responsibility for your life. Because when you do, you gain the one thing most people never have: control. Chapter 12. Build a mind that can't be broken. Most people quit because they built their lives around feeling good. The second things get hard, they break. But the strongest people in the world, the ones who rise above everyone else, they don't break, they bend, they adapt, they push through. They've trained their minds to be unbreakable. So how do you do that? How do you build a mind that doesn't crumble under pressure? You do hard things on purpose. Look at Navy SEALs. Their training is brutal. They put themselves through hell before they ever see battle. Why? Because when the real war comes, they don't hesitate. Their mind is already hardened. They've already faced worse. You need to do the same. That means waking up early when you don't want to. It means choosing the harder path instead of the easy one. It means doing things that suck, not because you have to, but because it makes you stronger. Most people avoid discomfort at all costs, but the more you avoid it, the weaker you get. The more you embrace it, the tougher you become. And when life hits you, and it will hit you, you'll be ready. You won't crumble, you won't break. You'll stand tall, look the storm in the face, and keep moving forward. Because in the end, The only thing that separates the weak from the unstoppable is who can endure the most pain without breaking. Chapter 13. The War Against Yourself. The biggest battle you will ever fight is not against an opponent. It's not against the competition, the haters, or the doubters. The biggest battle is the war inside your own head. Every single day, you're fighting against you, your weaknesses, your excuses, your fears. And if you lose that war, nothing else matters. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself? How many times have you told yourself, I can't, I'm not good enough, or it's too hard? That's you getting in your own way. That's your own mind sabotaging you before the world even gets a chance. Most people don't fail because life is too hard. They fail because they let their own minds break them down. They let doubt creep in. They listen to their fears instead of silencing them. They tell themselves a story that keeps them weak. I wasn't born with it. I don't have the right resources. I've never done this before. But let's get real. If you keep losing the battle inside your mind, how do you expect to win anywhere else? If you can't dominate your own thoughts, how do you think you'll dominate the world? The strongest people in the world, the ones who rise to the top, the ones who refuse to quit, they don't let their thoughts control them. They control their thoughts. They wake up every morning and remind themselves who the hell they are. They don't wait to feel motivated. They act despite their feelings. They push forward even when every part of them wants to quit. That's the difference. Winners silence the voice of doubt. They take control. They override the fear and replace it with action. And the moment you do that, the war starts shifting in your favor. So today, right now, you make a decision. You decide who's in control, you or your excuses. Because the moment you take control of your mind, you take control of everything else. Chapter 14. Pain is the path. Nobody wants to suffer. Nobody wants to struggle. But the truth, pain is the greatest teacher you will ever have. Pain forces you to grow. It breaks down the weak version of you and rebuilds something stronger. Think about it. Every great transformation, every breakthrough, every success story, you know what they all have in common? Pain. The best athletes, they've pushed their bodies past their limits so many times that the pain became normal. The best entrepreneurs, they failed so hard and so often that they built an unshakable resilience. The best leaders, they've been through hell, and instead of breaking, they turned it into fuel. But most people, they run from pain. The second something hurts, they stop. The second something feels uncomfortable, they back off. And that's why they never reach their full potential, because they never allow themselves to go through enough pain to transform. You want to be great? You have to suffer. You have to seek discomfort. You have to look at pain and say, good, this is making me stronger. That's what separates the weak from the unstoppable. The weak avoid pain. The unstoppable embrace it. They know that every struggle, every setback, every failure is not the end. It's the beginning. It's the start of something greater. It's proof that they are leveling up. So from now on, you don't avoid pain. You don't run from struggle. You lean into it. You welcome it. Because pain isn't your enemy. It's the doorway to everything you've ever wanted. Chapter 15. Outwork everyone. Let's cut the nonsense. Talent is overrated. Luck is unpredictable. But work ethic? That's what decides who wins and who loses. Look at the people at the top of any industry. Are they the smartest, the most talented, the most naturally gifted? No. They're the ones who outworked everyone. Kobe Bryant was in the gym at 4 a.m. while other players were sleeping. Elon Musk works 80 to 100 hours a week, while others complain about working 40. The greatest people in any field aren't necessarily the most skilled, they're just the ones who refuse to be outworked. The truth is, most people are lazy. They talk about success, but they don't act like they want it. They put in a little effort and expect massive results, and when they don't get them, they quit. You can't be like them. You don't get to be like them. If you want to be unbeatable, you have to move differently. That means working when others are resting. It means staying disciplined when others are distracted. It means doing the boring, unsexy grind work that nobody sees over and over until you get what you came for. Because here's the brutal truth. If you don't outwork the competition, you lose to the competition. If you're not willing to work harder than everyone else, don't expect to beat them. The difference between the greats and everyone else isn't talent. It's effort. It's grit. It's discipline. The greats show up every day, no matter how they feel, no matter how hard it is. So the question is, are you willing to do what it takes? Are you willing to put in the work when nobody's watching? Because if you are, you won't just succeed, you'll dominate. You'll leave everyone else wondering how the hell you did it. Conclusion. Most people want success, but very few are willing to become the person who deserves it. They let fear hold them back. They let pain break them. They wait for the perfect time that never comes. But you now know better. You know that winning isn't about talent, luck, or circumstances. It's about mindset, resilience, and relentless action. The truth is, life will keep throwing challenges at you. There will always be obstacles, setbacks, and moments where you feel like giving up. But that's exactly when you must push harder. That's when you prove to yourself and the world that you are unbeatable. So the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you let it inspire you for a moment and then go back to old habits? Or will you act? Will you wake up tomorrow and make the decision to grind, to grow, to fight for the life you want? Because at the end of the day, the only thing standing between you and everything you've ever dreamed of is you. It's time to make the choice. It's time to become unbeatable. If this resonated with you, don't just sit on it, take action. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a lesson that could change your life. Like, comment, and share if you're ready to level up and break through every obstacle in your way. Join our community of relentless warriors, because success isn't a solo game. Keep learning, keep pushing, and most importantly, keep proving to yourself that you are unstoppable. Watch, learn, and dominate.